Everyone. Today we have Sri Leelanand Das to speak about the importance of spirituality in the growth of a child.
How spirituality plays a role in overall development of a child.
I would like to tell one example of specifically talking about nutrition because you talked about nutrition, right? So this happened. This is a true story that happened in a place called New Vrindavan. It is in Pennsylvania, and there is a beautiful ISKCON temple called ISKCON Radha Vrindavan Chandra Temple. It's a huge temple in between hills, right? Well, like 2-3 hours drive from Pittsburgh. So there, there was a brahmachari, and names apart, he is a very known brahmachari, and he was taking care of the temple affairs. And one lady came, during the weekend there is a lot of rush from Pittsburgh. A lot of families come into these hills and they want to see this beautiful temple. So they came and they met this monk, and this monk he saw that the mother was in a lot of anxiety, and so he made her sit down, and she had a little child around 5 years old, and the child was very notorious. He was not allowing her to sit down. He was not allowing her to calm down. He would go pull something, push something, break something, and the mother was in so much anxiety. And when the monk asked her to sit down, and the child was being taken care by her father for that time, the moment the monk asked her that, Mataji, we call each other, woman as Mataji in our society. So, Mataji, are you okay? You look in a lot of anxiety. And immediately she poured out. She started crying. This is the first interaction. She was speaking to the monk, and she immediately started crying. Her husband also came, and they both sat, and she started crying. And the monk asked, "What happened, Mataji? Why are you? I just asked, how are you doing? You looked very stressed out." She said, "Prabhuji, I can't explain you what my life has become a hell from the time I had this child. He doesn't allow me to sleep. He doesn't allow me to eat. He doesn't allow me to breathe a breath also, because he keeps doing so many notorious activities. He doesn't listen to anything I say. I don't know how to, I don't want to beat him, but I have to raise my hand sometimes because he doesn't leave me another choice. What do I do?" So the monk, after relieving her a little, he told, things will be fine, don't worry. Like that. Then he asked her some questions. He asked her, Mataji, can you tell what is the food the child eats? And be frank, be truthful, because you want me to help you. You tell me what exactly child is eating. She told, I give cornflakes in the morning to the child, and then I give milk, and then I make some, things. We order some pizza sometimes. We get some ready-made food, and because he likes cheese and he likes pastas. I don't know how to make, so I get those things, and I heat it up and give. And I also make some home food, and sometimes we also take him out because he likes burgers or etc., etc. She told whatever the case was. The monk heard everything, and then he told, Mataji, do you mind me telling you the truth, and do you mind me telling you a cure for this? She said, yes, I don't have any choice, because when I went to the psychiatrist, child psychiatrist, they are starting to give him medicines. They're starting to give him some seductions, by the child will calm down, he'll sleep more. He said, immediately stop these things. Because the Western side of the world doesn't understand the psychology and the connection between food and consciousness, right? So immediately told, don't take your child to any psychiatrist. The biggest psychiatrist and help is from mother only. So he told, now this is what is the problem. The food carries consciousness. Food carries a lot of consciousness. A lot of people don't know this. For example, if you are made 5 things to eat, and one of the things is made by your mother, even if you are not told, you eat those 5 things, you will choose and tell this one is more tasty. And you don't even know which one your mother has made, because so much consciousness of love is there inside the food, right? So he told, first and the foremost thing, don't give him anything from outside. Make everything with your hand. And whatever you make with your hand, offer it to Krishna and pray to Krishna that this food should go and change the consciousness of my child, right? So with that prayer, and the prayer is the most powerful thing in this planet. Nothing can be more powerful. No bomb, no weapon can be more powerful than a prayer, because God really hears it, and he sends that blessing, right? So she started doing that. He told, if you are eating cornflakes, what is made? How are cornflakes made? Cornflakes are made through machine. So if a child is eating cornflakes, his consciousness will be machine consciousness, like a completely unsensitive consciousness. Machines are not sensitive beings, so he will not have good sensitivity. So every act of yours in the food, while you are making food, keep nice bhajan, nicely, enjoyably make. In fact, our Vedic culture says a woman should sit down and cook. It was not like a aspect of convenience. She should sit down and cook, because when she sits down and cooks, her back problems are not there, and she is nicely, happily, joyfully cooking, even if it's 1 hour,
Correct.
right? So that is the most. These little things make a big difference. So he told, do these things and try it for at least 3 months, and after that you come to me. And it's a true story that she did that for 3 months, and they all visited New Vrindavan again. And this time, as soon as she came, she ran to this monk, husband and wife, and they paid pranam and said, "You have saved our life. Our child is a completely different child today. In 3 months of just eating home cooked food, and that too with that which is offered to Krishna, with few restrictions we have. That's okay. To start with, you don't have to worry about that. Eventually, you have to know what to offer to Krishna, what not. So we have done that, and we ourselves have changed. Our consciousness towards our child has changed, because we were also eating what was being cooked, and our child's consciousness has changed by eating the prasad that is given to Krishna 24 hours a day. Health per se we are cured. Consciousness per se we are cured. I don't think any other doctor could have given us this simple advice of eating something that is given to God, right? So mother can do a lot while during the pregnancy time by herself eating home cooked food for her child, and also continuing that after the pregnancy by giving her own milk, and then also giving food that is cooked by her and offered to God.
What are the practices a child needs to follow, and how it helps them to have a right spiritual knowledge and their holistic
Yes.
development?
Yes. Mataji, one of the most important things that we should understand is how does a child learn, right? A child doesn't learn from ears. A child learns from eyes, right? Adult is supposed to learn from ears and not from the eyes. This is Vedic way of learning, right? So a child, what he sees, he learns more than from what he hears, right? A lot of times children are sent to Bhagavad Gita classes to learn mantras, to hear Bhagavad Gita, to or some spiritual thing, which is good thing, which is not like, but understand that he doesn't learn the principles through that. He sees and learns. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says in 3rd chapter, 21st shloka, Yad yad acharati shrestha tat tat evataro jana sayat pranamam kurte lokas tad anuvartate. Which means whatever action a great leader does, the followers will follow it, and they will also follow the same thing. So a leader has a big responsibility. For a child, the biggest leader is their parents, mother and father, right? So the behavior of their parents and how they are attending spiritual classes influences the child a lot. For example, if the parents just send their children, okay, you go and learn Bhagavad Gita from this auntie, she's teaching on every Sunday, that's not going to help. What will really help, when the parents go and sit in their class and they're hearing, and the child looks at their parents, he just looks at their parents, that my parents, even though they are so big, they are still learning spirituality from somebody. They are sitting and learning. That creates a sanskara in their head. And as they grow, they will realize that in my life also, when I grow up, or even while I'm growing up, when somebody is telling about God, I should sit down and listen. This cannot be taught by any philosophy. This can be taught by the behavior of their parents. So spirituality for a child is in tango along with the parents. So it is always spirituality for the family. This parent should always understand. But when you grow up, you hear and learn a lot. You cannot see by your judgmental eyes and learn. But when you're a child, it's very important that the child learns from his eyes. There is a saying in our Vedic culture that to bring up a child, a whole village is needed, not just two parents, right? And so it's so unfortunate that today the child doesn't even have those parents, at the house. They're putting in some crush and going. So first of all, why a whole village is needed? Why is this told? There are different societies inside a village, cobbler, barber, people from different communities, and how they interact with each other, how they serve each other, how they respectfully deal with the head of the village. There is a panchayat, there is a most respected guru in the village, and how the whole people deal with him. So the child goes and sees these relationships. A child sees the relationship between all the families, potter, how the potter is making things, how it is coming to the house, agriculturist, and there are people who are supporting in agriculture, people are taking care of cows. So a child sees all these interactions in society, and then through that he'll understand how important it is to respect, how important it is to respect everybody. In Vedic society, nobody worked for anybody. Everybody were a freelance professionals in their respective vocations. They were called for use, but never ruled over. The picture that we have been given is completely different. That they were exploited. No, they were not exploited. British came and started zamindari. British came and started, allotment of land and all that, which I will not get into the topic. But Vedic culture is where everybody were independent and happy, and everybody is to respect everybody. Even the barber, the one who is to take a hair thing, he would come to a rich man's house in the village, and the rich man would sit in the courtyard, and the barber, while he's doing it, while he's removing or shaving him, he would take that surf and keep it on his hand. He would not find it anything wrong to put it on his hand also, that hair that has come out. And while he was doing that, the main person, the head of the house, would be speaking to the barber all the inner secret of family, whatever is happening in his life, and the barber would just listen to it, and there is a relationship. There is a great relationship of trust between both of them, right? So everything was, and this all things child will see. A child will see what is my relationship of my father with the barber, with the potter, with the goldsmith, with this. He would see how respectfully they are dealing, and that is imbibed into the conscience of a child. How grandparents are taking care of the child, very, very important aspect. That cannot be replaced with anybody. Grandparents are very, very important. Sometimes when the father is strict, grandparent is a little, free, right? So whatever he doesn't get from his parents, he knows where to get from his grandparents, right? So these all things together make a child. Spirituality imbibing in a child is about relationships. For a child, it's all about what he sees and what he experiences in his relationships, right? So this is one aspect of how a child becomes a better person. Now you might say, Prabhuji, whatever you told is used to happen. What about now? Abhi kya karenge? Now we are in Madhapur, Tellapur. We don't know what to do with our lives. Our grandparents are in the village. How can I imbibe these things? How can I give these things to my child? Well, you still have an opportunity. Go and attend satsangs. When this COVID is gone, when this time is gone, you can obviously go and attend satsangs. What happens in satsang is a child sees how his parents are attending, and also the child gets to see other children, how they are behaving in a satsang, how they're wearing and coming. We don't make the children sit down and listen in the whole satsang. We just want them to be in the satsang. They can go and play outside, they can go and do whatever they want, but the consciousness there is they should not learn anything bad. They should not use any bad words. They should see how their parents are singing bhajans, and they should see Bhagavad Gita being taught, right? And there is a guru, Shiksha Guru, and from there everybody are learning how they're respecting each other, how they're bowing down. This is all etiquettes that actually brings spirituality. The foundation of spirituality is laid in a child when a family as a whole goes to a satsang, right? So this is a very, very important thing that can be imbibed even today. In all today's situation on a Sunday, if a family together does this one activity, it really brings up the child. And one other important thing you should see is how many activities are husband and wife doing together. Child sees that. Child sees, okay, mother is doing this, father is doing that. Okay, that's okay. But at least once in a week, there should be one activity where husband and wife together are doing, and child is also participating in that. And that is nothing but a satsang, right? Satsang of the family, where the three of them together. And why not that activity be something related to God? Of course, you can play shuttlecock with your children, you can play table tennis with your children, you can have caroms with your children, which is what you do, which is also needed. But also doing something higher activity relating to God, spirituality, singing bhajans, learning some philosophy together along with the child, makes the holistic development of a child from a spiritual angle.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was really an enlightening session, actually. Thanks for taking your valuable time and discussing all these things and, making our audience know how spirituality is more important. And I really thank you so much for this.
I'm very grateful for you giving me this opportunity. I don't feel qualified because the topic is nutrition. I myself am not following the best nutrition, becoming obese. But I must say that it's a blessing if every mother understands her greatest role. Every father understands her greatest role. The biggest investment on your child is not the flat or the villa that you will live in Tellapur or Madhapur,
Right.
right? It is just the love, it's just the time, it's just the importance that you give to your child when he's growing up, even in the womb and even when he's outside. India needs happy families, and happiness comes from relationships. And in that relationship, when you cook something with love, it makes all the difference. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hope you guys found this knowledge useful. See you tomorrow with another interesting video. Like, share, and subscribe my channel.